Imagine your period comes and you have no symptoms, no PMS leading up to it, no pain, no cramping, no bloating, no weight gain, no acne. That is how your period is actually meant to be. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to our new channel. Click the bell for notifications for all of our videos on how you can balance your hormones naturally for a symptom-free period every single month. Hi, I'm Dr. Annie Savage. I'm a naturopathic doctor and I work in women's health. I teach women how they can have symptom-free periods every single cycle by balancing their hormones naturally. Symptoms like PMS, bloating, mood swings, cramping, clots in your period, an irregular cycle, very heavy blood flow. So many symptoms can be possible with our periods. And unfortunately, it's become so common that women have these symptoms that they actually think that they're normal. What these symptoms are telling us is that our hormones are out of balance, and we can actually heal this. So we can balance our hormones naturally to avoid all these symptoms. Essentially, all of these symptoms will go away when those hormones are balanced. So let's talk about how we can balance your hormones. Are you experiencing some of the symptoms that I just listed? Let me know in the comments below what your period is like. Maybe. When we talk about unbalanced hormones, we are really talking about an elevated estrogen level compared to either a normal or a low progesterone level. That's the most common symptom picture that we see in a lot of women. So when we're talking about high estrogen, it doesn't mean that it's going to be high on your lab work or out of range. So that's probably why, if you've been able to get some blood work done, your practitioner has maybe said, everything looks fine, it all looks normal, but you don't feel fine. So that's the first thing that we need to address, is that we are talking about ratios and balancing between these two hormones. So your estrogen probably won't look high outside of the range on your blood work if you're able to get that done, but it will be high or elevated compared to that progesterone. So that's the first thing we want to make sure that we all know, that we are talking about optimal levels versus just a reference range lab level. That's the first thing we need to know so that we can balance our hormones properly. When we want to balance our hormones, we have to take into account the 4 pillars of health. I find when I'm working with women that if we don't implement each of these pillars of health, we don't get the results that we're really looking for. So let's talk about what those are. When we are starting to balance the hormones, the first pillar of health is detoxification, and that is the place we have to start. Many women don't like this or don't know why we have to start in the gut, but everything is happening in our gut first. So we need to talk about our gut health and our digestive health, because that is the first step in balancing our hormones. So we need to make sure that you are actually absorbing and assimilating all the nutrients you're putting into your body, because we are all eating the food that we need for fuel for our body. Our body is taking the nutrients that we are ingesting and using it in all the processes to make our hormones, to break down our hormones, to do everything that our body is trying to do to keep us alive. Are you having gas, bloating, cramping, diarrhea, constipation, reflux, heartburn? What else is happening? We really need to make sure that you're having efficient digestion so you get those nutrients in, your body can then use them. And then on the other side of it, we also need to look at your detoxification and elimination processes. This is the process that your body uses to extract the nutrients it wants to keep and use versus the waste products and the toxins that it wants to get rid of. So when we're talking about gut health, we have to talk about the liver. The liver is so important in balancing our hormones as well as our gut health and our digestion. The liver is helping you to digest your fats. It's actually helping to emulsify your fats and make them easier to digest and absorb. It is also metabolizing your hormones, so your excess hormones. That excess estrogen level is actually should be going through your liver, being broken down, metabolized out, put back into the intestines, and shipped off with your stool. That is your waste product. What can be happening is that we have an unhealthy digestive system. So we're not getting the nutrients that we are actually consuming, or maybe we're not consuming the right nutrients for our body. For example, if you are constipated, that solid waste is staying stuck in your body. Your body is very smart though, and it will try to get it out, try to give you those signals to create a bowel movement. Or if that isn't working, your body will use another organ of elimination, such as your skin, to push those toxins out. That is one of the reasons, one of the ways that we are seeing acne on our skin, rashes, eczema, psoriasis as well. It has to do with that digestive process as well as that elimination process. So we need to address that first. Nutrition is our second pillar. So we need to figure out the proper nutrition for your body. But we can't do that without having done step one, which was our digestive systems. We can also use nutrition as our medicine, and we can actually begin to balance our hormones with using the whole foods that we eat. So we can actually eat to support our hormone balance for each phase of the month. Hormones are our third pillar. This is where we look directly at the hormone imbalances that could be at play. Typically by this point in our journey together, a lot of people are feeling a lot better. When we reduce the inflammation in our digestive system and get our digestion working optimally along with those elimination and detoxification pathways, we see our hormones begin to balance very naturally and very nicely. At this point, this is when we would use herbal supplements, botanicals, potentially specific nutrients in supplement form to further balance our hormones. Pillar 4 is our lifestyle. This is a huge pillar. This has to do with our stress levels, our exercise levels, and our sleep. So all three of these things really must be addressed to balance our hormones, because otherwise they are obstacles. They're barriers to cure, essentially. When we are talking about exercise, most people know we need to exercise. It's good for our body. It's good for our heart. What a lot of women don't know is that they're exercising too much or too intensely. When your hormones are already not balanced and you have all these symptoms in your day-to-day life or with your period or your digestive system, we know that we need some healing. When you exercise though, that actually increases your stress or your cortisol, which is your stress hormone. In most cases, in a happy, healthy individual with balanced hormones, that increase in cortisol will be acute or short term, and it'll go down on its own. This can be really good for our body. If you are a person who is under a lot of stress though, already your cortisol levels are already higher and your hormones are unbalanced, doing those intense exercise programs is actually going to be detrimental. It's going to be a bad thing. It will actually push your hormones further out of balance, so that is what we want to avoid. So the type of exercise you're doing is very important. Sleep, also hugely important. When we are sleeping, our body is rejuvenating, regenerating, repairing. We need that rest. So if you are not going to bed at the same time as the same day, meaning within that 24-hour period, you're going to bed after midnight, it's technically already the next day, you are actually causing more imbalances in your hormones. So ideally, you get to bed before midnight. Really ideally, it's like 10 p.m. And that will support your hormones as well as your repair and regeneration that your body is trying to do. Stress is the other huge component here. We can't really get away from all of our stress in North America, but we can manage it. We can manage how it feels in our body and our reaction to it. So that's also what we need to go over, is how we can manage this cortisol level, which is our stress hormone, and how we react to these high stress times in our life. So we want to help you start to balance your hormones naturally and right away. Download our free guide, which has the 4 most common causes of why your hormones are becoming imbalanced, as well as 4 rules and tips that you can implement today to begin balancing your hormones. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. Click the bell for notifications so you get notified every time we have a new video out. And keep a lookout for our next video, which is specifically on how to heal your gut.